If you leave the marital home, particularly with the kids, is that considered abandonment? Abandonment of those children? My name is Akiva Goldman, and I'm the director and founder of Goldman & Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan, and we're going to continue our video series today designed to educate and inform the public, especially about a question like that. So please subscribe to our channel. So what about it? Can you leave your home? Maybe it's a toxic environment. Maybe it gives you a lot of stress. Maybe there's a lot of drama in the home, so you want to leave the home and leave the kids. And then you wonder, is it considered abandonment? Well, abandonment of what is really the question that you have to talk about. If you want to leave the home and you're worried doing so will cause your property rights to be compromised by virtue of abandonment, some notion that if you leave, you don't get to, get your peace. You don't have to worry about that. As it relates to the property, Michigan does not really have a law about abandonment. Just because you go doesn't sacrifice your right to the marital equity in that home or your share thereof. So you don't have to worry about that. But what about the children? If you leave the home, but leave the children with the mom as you go and get an apartment, the question is, how's that going to impact custody? Will the court see that as you abandoning your kids? Well, the court could look at it that way. I don't know if it's really a question of abandoning your kids, particularly if you go, but you keep regular contact with them. You move down the street to preserve the domestic tranquility, but you involved in the kid's life every day. If you go to the other side of the state, never call them and never do anything, that might be regarded as abandonment. But I think the more important issue when you talk about leaving the children somewhere is how's it going to impact a potential play for custody down the road? And the answer is it will very surely impact it. You see, if you're going to say that you want custody because you're the better parent, all the while you've been gone for 8 months, unless you can show that the temporary custodial parent is doing something wrong, is not a good custodian, you're going to have a tough time ahead of you. The court's going to tend to want to say, you know what, you were okay with the kids being there when it was convenient for you for 8 months. Now I've got to make, as a judge, a decision. I'm going to leave the kids where they are because they seem to be doing okay. And you seem to have been okay with that. If you're going to say, well, Judge, I'm not okay with it because it's a horrible, abusive environment, then the question comes, why'd you leave your kids in an abusive environment? See, there's no real way to win that. If you want to leave and hope to gain custody down the road in a final judgment, you better take your kids with you. It's going to play out much better before the court. Your Honor, I had to leave because it was a toxic environment. I would never leave my kids in that environment, so I took them with me. Now, the other guy is going to be asked about the environment. He's going to deny it. Then the question becomes, well, if you deny it, why'd your kids leave? And if you couldn't control that, why don't you file a motion to get them back? Why didn't you do something in response? If you didn't, it's going to work against you. If you did, that's a different story, but you can see the nuance associated with the departure, not as it relates to the property, but as it may relate to custody and the children later on down the road. If you have any questions about that, reach out, and we'll be glad to help you out.